Welcome to the Draft Board Hockey Show, episode 9. I'm joined by my co-host, Linc from New Wave Hockey. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. It's going good. We're still recovering from a little bit of a cold here in Copenhagen, but we're having a good time. We had a just great episode the other day with the Puck Bunker boys. That was really awesome. I've been watching that over and over again.
Let me show you the episode right here. This is it. We did episode 8. We did a collaboration, 2025 NHL mock draft. We did the top 20, had 5 picks each, and it was a lot of fun. So go check that out. It's in the history there, but yeah, that was a blast. And like I said, I got a few other big names that are going to be on the next one, and we'll probably do top 32 first round. And so that's going to be in a few weeks, probably right near the lottery, or maybe earlier than that. We'll see. We're going to get excited. We might decide to put it up earlier than that, Linc?
Oh yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm really excited to do another one of those. Those guys were really awesome. The only issue that I had was Rocco was coming after my boy Trevor Zegras, so I have the shirt that I almost saw Jaromir Jagr in this weekend.
Oh, that's the one, eh? Oh, that's awesome.
That's the one. So someone just recognized me and was like, "Yo, oh my God, like, oh, what's his name?" I was like, "Oh," so yeah. So hope you're watching, Rocco. Again, this is what it looks like. But no, great episode. You guys should definitely go check it out. I think it's at like 2,300 views like already. It's just we're getting,
a couple days.
We're getting up there. So let us know what you guys think about it, because we got a lot of comments already about, like, especially my pick with the Flyers.
You got chirped a little bit there, Linc. You got chirped a little bit. There's a few Flyers fans who weren't happy with that pick, but we don't disclose it. We'll talk about that later. But yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know if anyone's gonna be happy with any of the picks that's gonna have with the Flyers. I mean, look at last year. So we'll
yeah, you know what?
We got bigger fish to fry today. So.
Well, you know what? Hey, listen, in a couple days, big game, Canada, USA, the rematch. And a bunch of my buddies are already planning a big night for that. So we're going to be wearing our Canada jerseys, and hopefully we take it to the Yanks again. I love it.
What do you mean again?
Yeah.
Get to him first. I was about to say.
I'm talking about like championship games. I'm not talking about.
No, I got you.
I'm not worried about round robin there, Linc.
Well, look. You again. You Canadians, you've been talking a big game. Now we saw what happened in the World Juniors. We were here talking about it before that. So we'll see. I'm a little worried. I heard about the news about Charlie McAvoy. I hope he's doing okay. He's been admitted to the hospital, but I mean, hopefully the entire team will be raring to go. There was no Matthews, neither the Tkachuk boys, and obviously no McAvoy. But hopefully McAvoy's doing better. And again, we come to play Thursday while I'm asleep because it's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. for me.
Americans better bring their A game. That's all I have to say. But it's in Boston, yeah. So now a little bit of a home ice advantage this time around. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, it's good. You know what? Listen, all things considered, this tournament, this little mini tournament, has been pretty fun. Like a lot of talk. The 3 fights, in 9 seconds, the first game, and after the first fight, I thought, okay, well, that's it. And then all of a sudden, Brady Tkachuk's lining up. I'm like, what is going on? And then the third fight, I'm like, this is unreal. Like, wow, it was like it's good old time hockey, as they say, eh?
That's some rough and tumble. That's some clutch and grab hockey right there that we saw a little bit of. But then they got into their defensive structure and they really just shut the Canadians down. I really liked what they did there. It was a nice 1-2-2. I think I saw a lot of videos breaking it down, but ever since that game, I've just been watching all the highlights from the last World Cup in 2016. I just want to see more teams, another Team North America, perhaps. But yeah, this has been really exciting. I've been really excited to watch all of it. It's been amazing.
Yeah, you know what? It is pretty cool. And then we have the Olympics coming up. So you know what? Good time for hockey. And so today's episode, we're going to talk about Caleb Desnoyers. We've been kind of pumping his tires a lot lately. So we're going to go through some video, go through some stats and all that fun stuff. But before we do that, I wanted to talk about someone who has just been on an absolute fire, and that is Michael Misa. Check this out. He leads the entire Canadian Hockey League in points. Yes, and he's draft eligible this year. 108 points, and yeah, he's on a 19-game point streak. And actually, Linc has he's got a tracker. He's got the tracker on the Misa Meister. So what does Michael Misa have in his last 19 games?
All right, so this has really been an incredible season for Michael Misa. he started this point streak while the World Juniors were going on, and ever since December 29th of 2024, he has scored 47 points, 22 goals, 25 assists through 19 games. That is ridiculous. But again, it's been incredible. But you think about all the points that he's been doing, a lot of that has been goals, which has been incredible. The last 5 games, even, he's scored on average 2 goals per game. He's had 10 goals in the last 5 games. That's ludicrous.
I think Eric Lindros holds the most goals for draft eligible player in the OHL, 61 goals. I'm gonna say, I can't remember off the top of my head. However, Misa
it's within reach.
Might be the new champion for that. And like draft eligible player, like leading the CHL, not the OHL, leading the entire Canadian Hockey League. So yeah, he's just been on fire. And the debate for first overall is going to intensify, especially now that Schaefer's still out, and he might not be back till March. So it's going to be down to the last day for sure.
Well, I mean, not to be whatever, Mark, but look who's at my number one. So that I've had for a little bit. No, I was Higgins for a little bit for a while. I considered Misa back in November when he was really on a torrid pace, and Higgins wasn't. But now it's been impossible for me to deny what Michael Misa has been doing, and I really hope that again, come spring, people kind of follow in my tracks a little bit. But we will see what happens. I think the only way that you can describe what Michael Misa is doing is one word, and I'm going to use the word exceptional. So that's all I got to say. And
he was an exceptional status player, came in the league at 15. And, it's going to be interesting to see because, like, if a team, say like San Jose lands that first overall spot, they're in a tough dilemma because, like, do you take, the top D in the draft, or like, how do you pass up on someone like Michael Misa, who's absolutely just torching the OHL? And we're not going to know what's going to happen, especially the first round. It's going to be just unreal.
The way that I'm kind of viewing this draft is that, again, I go back in time and I watch a ton of like just old drafts, just like because I think it's really fun and it's enjoyable. Coincidentally, you could quiz me on the first round of every draft since probably like 2008. I could probably just list all all names off in order. But like, it's not. Well, that's for another pod. This one draws, in my opinion, and you can combat me if you want with this. This one, in my opinion, draws a lot of similarity to the John Tavares draft year. It was him, it was Victor Hedman, it was Matt Duchene. And again, you look at this player, he's an exceptional status player, just like John Tavares. You got an exceptional, unreal defenseman in Matthew Schaefer, who is talented in so many aspects. And you also got a really high upside center in James Higgins. I see a lot of similarities in the kind of choice between the three of them as a very similar kind of like pick between all three. It's going to be so exciting.
I like that. I like that analogy, actually. You know what? And that draft, it was another one where it was coming down to the, right down to the end. And I think that I would say that Michael Misa probably is at a better point than John Tavares was come draft year, because John Tavares still had some questions about his skating and stuff like that, whereas Michael Misa's skating is just unreal. Yeah, and his compete, right, and the way he motors around the ice, his pace of play. And another player that's kind of been climbing the rankings, and that is our next person that we're going to talk about. And that
he's your new top 4, right?
Caleb Desnoyers. No, I got him at 5 still. I think like the top 3 are kind of locked in, and then you got cut. And I think the next grouping is kind of tight. But look at these numbers: 71 points in 47 games. He's got 30 goals, which is really decent. And the thing is, you look at his size; he's 6'2", right? Plays typically center, but can play the wing as well. So yeah, he's a player that you're going to see the clips. He is fun to watch, and actually in our mock, he went pretty high, and it was kind of a surprise, and it kind of ruined some of the next picks way that we want to go. But anyways, yeah. So what's your thoughts on Caleb Desnoyers? I've been talking him up for a couple months now, so you've kind of jumped on the train a little bit.
Yeah, no, I would say that I was an early guy on. I was an early participant in the Caleb Desnoyers is a top 10 pick train. But ever since I've just kind of like I've been watching him pretty closely, and in December I I did a full scale scouting report on him. Like, he was my prospect of the week, and I talked about him, and I watched his game, and this guy is just, he's so good. He's incredible. He's a really great offensive talent. I mean, I'm a little bit critical of the skating, but the shot is incredible. I think he's so smart. He's a very solid stick handler. He's just very intelligent player, and he's a high effort, like, two-way center as well. You can get a lot out of Caleb Desnoyers in this draft, and I think I really do think the tools and everything else is going to carry him over the top. It's the skating that I'm like, I've the only thing that's brought me back, but like he's fighting with Martin for number 4 right now. I'm having a war in my mind.
I don't see an issue with that conversation, to be honest with you, or that statement. I think a few public pundits have kind of pushed. I'd say that the next grouping below the top 3, you got Caleb Desnoyers, you got Porter Martin, and some people Anton Frondel. I know you're not in that Anton Frondel grouping yet. Even Victor Eklund could be put in that grouping. So I think there's a conversation. There's a conversation to be had for the next group, the next tier below the top 3, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you got to keep it open. You see what he can bring. He's a center. I mean, we talked about it. Rocco made the point that he's 6'2" and 178 pounds. He's going to fill out. He's there. You see people who are 6'2". Again, Jake O'Brien, another one. Yeah. Beckett Seneca, but he was 6'3", now 6'4". Hey, yeah. Good investment, Anaheim. Good on you guys. Great, good pickup. But you see that type of frame, and you see he's going to grow. He's going to physically mature. The sky really is the limit. There's a lot more I think you can get out of Caleb Desnoyers, hypothetically. You just have to see how the rest of the year pans out. Right now, Martin is putting up points at a much better clip in a league which is arguably harder to score in with the OHL. But Desnoyers is what he can do. It's been on display, and it's been special. I've really been enamored with his play.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into the video, but you mentioned Porter Martin, but again, you got to remember Porter Martin's been in the league 1 year longer than Desnoyers, right? And so I think if you were to look back at Martin's points last year, he wasn't putting up the same points per game as Desnoyers is this year. So in terms of that, and Porter Martin's a bigger dude too, right? And like I said, Desnoyers still has to fill out, but I like Desnoyers compete. He's got good, and he's not afraid of the physicality. He goes out there and he throws some checks, and he's willing to go into the dirty areas and along the wall and stuff like that in the corners. So I like that kind of play, and especially as someone who has some offensive upside, and then you add that physical element. That's exactly what the NHL, what they look for. They want someone who has offensive upside and who can also compete, because what is that equal to? It equals to playoff success, right? So I think that's what Desnoyers brings to a team.
Yeah, in my report, I was like really struggling to find someone like really good to compare him to. And I kept wanting to go to Barkov because but I couldn't do that.
Poor man's Barkov.
The poor man's Barkov, more of like a rich man's Anton Lundell, somewhere in between those two. You've got someone, a really technical passer, a really smart player in transition. All he needs to do is just extend that stride and get a little bit more speed. But skating
you work on.
Oh, absolutely. But like the mind, you can't teach what he's doing right now in the QMJHL. It's unreal. It really is.
Let me show you a clip. So you're talking about a clip. So
I've got a couple too.
Right here. So this is him picking up the puck, time and space. Look at that. He waits, hits his teammate in the slot. So that is an example of that hockey IQ and the patience. So he gets it along the wall here. Watch this. Wait, open up a lane. Boom. It's in the net. And that's what you're talking about right there, right? When you're talking about that hockey IQ, creating time, is look at just perfect. Like, come on. That's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I guess you'll see in one of my clips, I call him the chess master often. I give some just informal nicknames. We got Billy Z for Bill's on it, but I call Desnoyers. He reminds me of a chess player. The way that he thinks the game out. I mean, America has their great chess players. Russia obviously has theirs. Canada really needs a chess player to kind of take the center stage, and Desnoyers is that guy.
He's the one, man. I love it.
he thinks the game kind of like 3 steps ahead, and it's something that I've really enjoyed watching. It's just been really incredible. He's been you can tell that he's been the main driver for most of the points for Moncton this year, and that's a pretty successful team. He's playing on a team with some loaded guys, Julius Sumpf, Vidacek, the other guys. It's a great team. He's really driving the play for them, and it's with his sharp mind, to be honest. That's the biggest thing that I take away from watching him.
And the other thing is that he's an assistant captain on that team as a 17-year-old, right? So all these traits, these things, these characteristics of a hockey player, he has them in spades. And let's pull up a clip here. All right, tee this one up here, Linc.
Yep. So looking here, Desnoyers number 18.
Right in the slot
there. He's moving back here, and he's the off puck intelligence right there, incredible. Right in the slot.
Oh.
And then quickly finds a better lane.
Wow, that's nice.
You rarely see that.
That's nice. See?
You rarely see that, and he's got it. He's got it right there. He's got the shot, and he's a great shooter. 30 goals. We've talked about it, but the confidence to look it off. You're in the slot. You're in the middle. You're in between the circles. You have the best shot possible.
He faked the shot. He faked the shot.
He faked the shot
and shoulder. Yeah.
That's so intelligent to me. And again, it's nasty. Oh man, disgusting. I love it.
Now let me show you another clip of a passing. So here 2-1. So he gets the puck right here. Watch this. Look at that sauce. Now you'll see it when it comes up on the close up again. So he waited for that lane. He could have tried to pass it right away through the stick, but watch. He waits, and then come on. Watch this. You'll see it a little bit better in this one right here. So he gets it right here. Waits, and then watch that sauce. Like, nicely done. Yeah.
I don't know. You caught me just going like, just admiring it. Oh God. I could watch Caleb Desnoyers and Michael Misa and James Higgins highlight and Matthew Schaefer highlights all day. These guys are just fun players to watch because they make such creative plays. And the mind, it's like watching. It really is for people who watch the show who also watch chess. It's like watching a great chess player. You just see them make the moves. You're like,
I like it.
How did he do that? That's incredible.
Like
I was talking about Ziv Bouillon like this last year. I was really impressed with a lot of the decisions that he made.
So I'm going to show a goal now. We talked about the shot. So this one here, you're going to watch. He's going to walk in, and he just rifles it. So that was him on the off wing. So you're going to see receives a puck here, and just that quick release. They don't have a close up of it. That's unfortunate, but and then
he just picks it up.
And then the hands. Watch it. Whoop.
Oh man!
Now people don't realize when you're going full speed like that, and the confidence of just going forehand, backhand right here, and then top cheese, like, oh, hey, that, yep, the Selly, we love it, perfectly done. And
as someone who plays,
let me pull up another clip for you here. I want to pull this one up for you.
Yep. So he's moving there.
Here he is. Gets the puck right here, probably. Right.
Yep. Run. Oh, I love this one.
Oh yeah.
He never spins off. He knows the puck is coming back to him the second he passes it. It is. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
He waited that he knew there's a potential, and that's also having to rely on your teammate and the confidence in your teammate that they might pass it back to you. But he totally opened up and waited for that pass. Like you said, he could have just stayed backhand, but he's like, this pass might come back. Reading the play, anticipation, right? You got to like that and anticipating that play. So that was a great play.
Absolutely. And that one of the reasons why I wanted to pull that one up, because he totally read that play once it broke down along the wall. He was someone who jumped on it. And again, he doesn't have the best skating. He's not the fastest player. He's not the most swift or graceful when he's skating, but he'll get the jump on you because he knows the puck is going to be there about a couple seconds before you do. So that's just you can't beat anticipation at some points.
No, you know what? He checks off all the boxes. Now, a couple of things that I'm concerned with. The skating was number one, right? The other thing is that I don't know if he possesses that one-on-one skill when coming along and deep. Like Misa and Higgins have that one-on-one skill where they can kind of absolutely just dangle guys. Now, he does show glimpses of it, but it's not the same level as Misa and Higgins. but still, like I said, he still reads the play really well. So he knows that if he can't beat a player one-on-one, he'll just spin off, wait for an open lane, and then dish it off. That's the nice thing about him. So he knows his weaknesses, I guess you could say.
Well, I guess that's a good point. One thing I do want to bring up is how many centers in the NHL can really truly beat an NHL offense.
Oh yeah,
the list is not that long.
No,
it's you have to understand like the intelligence and patience that he possesses. I would think is almost as valuable as being able to just go through the legs and just and blitz towards the thing. I think again, that's why Misa and Higgins are one, and
that's why I'm saying that's what separates them. That's why there's the top tier, the top three, and then the next. Because, like I said, Frondell, same thing, and Eklund, the same thing. Like they're just a notch below. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're all great players, but that top tier is the top tier, and then the next tier is the next tier, and that's, like I said, certain little things that allow those top players to be there, and the next tier down.
Yeah, no, but Desnoyers has done an excellent job at standing out, at just sticking out, becoming the player that he needed to be this year. Yeah. Again, I really admired him. Again, that's why I was like after Martin, I'm like, you know what? Let's go Desnoyers. Let's just So I was pushing for him over your guy Frondell. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a boxing match. I'll take Eklund. You take Frondell. No. We'll see who comes out on top.
No. Listen, I still have Desnoyers above Frondell, but they're in the same tier as so I said you can't really go wrong. I think with either one. And actually, if you look at Frondell, he's been tearing it up lately in the Elsveg.
Yeah, he has.
So there's so much fun. This is like
I gotta watch him. I gotta watch more of him because again, I'm going to eventually go see him while I'm here.
So. And don't forget, we got the U18s coming up, right? So all these guys are going to be playing against one another. It's going to be unreal. Well, so we got with the exception of Martin, Eklund, a couple of guys, but for the most part, those top 8 players, most of them are going to be at the U18. So that's going to be fun.
That's going to be really fun.
All right, let me see here. We'll get to. You have one more clip we wanted to show?
Oh yes, absolutely. This one is a fantastic clip. Okay, all right. Let me tee it up here. All right,
tee it up.
So this is the last clip here. Desnoyers up on the play here. Look at this. We talk about him beating defensemen. He just does it right here.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he gets it there, and he starts it. And they eventually do score on this. He's not the one who scores on it, but he creates the chaos in front of the net by just activating into the zone. And using that stick handling, and it was.
I just chirped him on the stick handling, and then you show me a clip like that, and I'm like, well, he does have it in him, but it's not as consistent as the other two.
Exactly. Guys. No. It's again, you can't just draw conclusions from one single play.
Yeah,
that's an amazing play though.
Oh,
he has the talent to develop into a better stick handler, and obviously he does with the work ethic, and we've seen it throughout the season, to develop into a better skater. I really think you're going to get a really well-rounded player out of Desnoyers. I really have a tough time seeing him as anything below a 2C. Oh, no. Again, yeah. I can totally. I mean, like 2C is probably the projection now, but 1C is not too far off.
If he fixes his skating, and like say he gets to that next level of skating, then there's no issue with him being a 1C.
Exactly.
And it depends. Anytime you got a 1C, it depends on the team, right? I mean, if you got a high end 1C, then he's going to be a great complementary 2C. If they're needing a 1C, then he can jump up into that role, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a player comp that you would want to throw out there for Mr. Desnoyers?
You know what? I've been seeing a lot of Barkov, light, which I don't have a problem with that. I like the Lundell that you said, because I remember Lundell. I was a big fan of Lundell in his draft year. Yeah, I was huge fan of Lundell. I just liked all the little things that he did away from the puck, and Desnoyers checks off those boxes too. And the thing with Lundell, they were saying, his skating is kind of suspect. Well, it was good, but it wasn't next level. And I think Caleb Desnoyers is the same kind of player. They both are chess masters. They're both chess masters in the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the details, we talk about it so much, the details in their game, so fine and so fine-tuned. It's really fantastic. So I'm, again, big fan of Lundell. He should have gone a lot higher than 12.
Oh, I agree.
He's helping out Florida now. and you have an opportunity to get another Lundell or maybe someone better than Lundell in Desnoyers, that's what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So now we're going to get to the, actually, you know what? Next episode, we might do a head-to-head. So we're not going to say who. We're deciding what we're going to do with the next show, but we might change it up a bit, Linc, we might do a little head-to-head, see who's two prospects, who we like, and why we like.
Boxing match,
Yes.
So it'll be nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, talking of prospects, we're gonna go to the listener questions, or the viewer questions, I should say. And there's one here. We got a little chirping on Linc for picking Eklund in our mock draft, but let's talk about, was there one for Misa there? So we got Ryan. Ryan is a frequent commenter, and he's saying that hoping the Hawks get Misa, dude, is exactly what we need in our top six. I mean, you know what? You can't go wrong with, like I said, you know what? Michael Schaefer, in my opinion, it's Schaefer and Misa. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I think Hagens has dropped down a little bit. Don't get me wrong. Hagens still has the potential upside, might be, the highest ceiling out of the three, but right now, Misa and Schaefer, if the Hawks, go 1-2, or if they get the second overall pick and say Schaefer goes first to San Jose, I would not be unhappy to go up and select Michael Misa at number 2. Like, Chicago you'd have your 1-2 right there. It's like unreal.
I'll take you one step further. In my opinion, right now, I think Michael Misa has not put out he's put himself out ahead of first. And it's more of a thing where he's leading this race, and he's picking up some steam, and Schaefer and Hagens are the only people who are within range to catch him. That's the way that I've seen it right now. Obviously Schaefer's been injured. Hagens, I mean, again, he could still look. Hagens is still incredible. He played some incredible hockey right before and just after the World Juniors. Right now he's slowing down. BC's been going through a little bit of a rough patch. They went from they're not even number 1 anymore. They got that taken back from Michigan State. So we'll see what happens to them. Obviously, the end of the year is going to be very telling. The national championship might bring Hagens' stock all the way back to 1. But for the Blackhawks, I really can't see you guys not taking Michael Misa with this pick. There are so many questions about what is going to happen with Connor Bedard and what he needs and what you guys need to support him and help him out. There's also similar questions about what Michael Misa can be. And I think the answer is they can be both a wing and center. Like if they are going to play center, that's fine. They're going to play the power play. It's no big deal. We see what's going down in Edmonton. I think it's better to have two incredible centers than try to reach for somebody else. You see what Edmonton has right now. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, my bad. I'm looking at that right now. I'm like, generational talent in Connor Bedard, generational talent with Connor McDavid. And then you get incredible talent with Michael Misa, incredible talent with Leon Draisaitl. That's a good problem to have. I'm looking at San Jose like that too now. I'm like, Misa could go there. A lot of teams are looking at what Michael Misa is doing, especially with the teammates that he's been with. I mean, look at what he's done with Igor Chernyshov. That's 3 points a game, Igor Chernyshov right there. There's a comment about that right below.
There's a question about Chernyshov. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
next. But yeah,
it's unreal.
So you mentioned Michigan State, and there's a player on there that I think is kind of fallen under the radar, and that's Shane Van Sage. I last year at the NDDP, he was one of my favorite. Got a good motors, big 6'2", 200 pounds, great skater. I think that I got him in my first round. He's a late first rounder for me. Some people have him in the second round, stuff like that. But I think he could be one of those guys that could be a steal of the draft. I really like his game. He's actually starting to put up more points lately. He's gotten a little bit of an offensive bump lately. So yeah, he's another one. But Chernyshov, going back to Chernyshov, let's get back and find that Chernyshov question there.
It's right there. Yeah, okay. Love Van Sage too. Great guy. All right.
Okay, so we got Damon says, Sharks fan in the house. While a small sample size, Chernyshov looks like he's going to be the steal of the 24 draft. And you know what? It's funny you say that because I had him in the first round, and I was very surprised that he dropped because I did a scouting report on him, and I'm telling you, I was watching him. The kid's got hands. He's got some scoring touch. He's a big kid. and he comes over here, doesn't speak a lick of English, North American hockey. So that's a whole new thing. And he just comes in and says, yeah, okay, let's tear it up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Right now he's at 9 games, 27 points. I don't even know the split between goals and assists. I've been watching him tearing it up. But
3 points a game. 3 points per game.
I put a tweet out there being like, that's what playing with Michael Misa gets you, and I got a ton of flack for it. But at the end of the day, let's talk about this. He was injured most of the year. He had a less than stellar year with Moscow Dynamo. He was projected a higher pick, and because of the lack of production, he did not go as high as people thought he would. I saw the vision. Believe me, that guy's a workhorse. He is a absolute he is a robot. He's just energy consistently. And he was in my first round too. Then he went. I didn't believe this either. He went. There were 55 names called ahead of him in the CHL import draft. Can you imagine that? That's crazy. And he's tearing it up right now. But Michael Misa was the perfect centerman for Chernyshov. You're getting the most out of Chernyshov you ever could have wanted. It's been fantastic. They've been perfect. They've been perfect line mates. They've been perfect on the power play. It's just been perfect. And looking at a redraft, I think it's tough to talk about that right now, especially we're not even a year out from the draft. I think a fun exercise would be to kind of talk about how every single first round pick has done, and see who has had an interesting draft year +1 outside the first round. I don't like redrafts. I think it's dumb. It ignores the context of the time. But I think examining how everyone's year went, I think it would be a lot cooler. So
yeah, you know what? I think, like you said, I mean, 1 year is not indicative of
not even a year. It's been
as of a prospect's success. But I mean, you know what? If you go down 4 or 5 years down the line, so in 3 years, when we're doing the draft board episode 283 or something like that, we can say, hey, Chernyshov's in the NHL and this is what he's doing, and what a miss in that draft, right?
Yeah. I would be completely jumping on the Flyers for having that 32nd pick and trading it to the Oilers instead of running up to the table and getting Chernyshov at that point.
All right, so we got another last question here for the day, and we got Trent, and he said, Utah fan, had fingers and toes crossed for O'Brien, but never really believed he'd fall. So quite happy with Jackson Smith. Good pick. Yeah, you know what? I think, like I said, when you get to a certain point in the draft, there's those tiers, and then Jake O'Brien, he could probably push into that second tier as well. And same with Jackson Smith, depends on what you want. A little bit more of a project with Jackson Smith, but Jake O'Brien, he's another one that's been kind of climbing up the rankings, and I'm going to see him in March, beginning of March. So I'm kind of excited about that. Going to go see Jake O'Brien live again. Like I said, the last game I saw him a week ago, he's looking really good. So yeah, Jake O'Brien, or was Smith a nice pick by Utah there in our mock?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. He's gonna be somebody that you need to have a lot of runway with. Again, it's gonna take a lot of time. It's gonna be a little bit of a project, but the raw potential is absolutely there. I think Utah is set up really well in this draft. There's a lot of things that they accomplished over the last 2 drafts. They're a much bigger team in their prospect system. They are large and in charge.
Stalayev and Boot
Stalayev, Boot, Samu Bao is another late pick. Wow. Maverick Lamoureux. There is some mass in their prospect coverage.
They went big, yeah.
So they can afford to go with a skill player and take a swing on a guy like Jake O'Brien. God forbid he falls to 11. I don't. Well,
Jake O'Brien's 6'2". I mean, and he might end up 6'3", and then 170 pounds.
He's a skill guy.
He's not gonna be small either. So I mean,
Jackson Smith, he's 6'3", 193.
Yeah,
we're not talking about small players at all. They can take whoever they want. They can focus on skill. That's the point that I'm trying to make. They can focus on skill and taking that swing on a player who can be an excellent creator of offense for them. You look at a few years down the line, they got Dylan Genther in a pretty up and down draft class, and he's just been producing for them. Oh yeah.
You know what?
So
Slow but sure, as they say. Utah is, like you said, they're kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, eh? Average 6'6", 338 pounds. Like, is that bonkers or what? Like, that's crazy. 6'6", 338 pounds was their average line, the offensive line. I'm like, I think, in a few years, we're going to look at Utah, their average, defense for whatever. They're going to, same thing, 6'4", 250 pounds. Like, what is going on?
yeah, the Finn Samu Bao has just been a player. I've been watching. Yanni Niemann and him were like two. I think they were both in Ilves in Finland, and they would be featured on the World Junior team in Finland. Oh my gosh, fun players to watch. So fun. I can't wait to see them play for their respective Western Conference teams. That's gonna be so fun.
That's unreal. All right, I think that's it for today, Linc. As always, fun stuff. And if you haven't seen the mock draft that we did on the last episode 8, head over to that, watch it, and you know what? Go and follow Linc at New Wave Hockey and the Puck Bunker Boys. Like, a lot of people the positive comments, and we're gonna do it again. Like I said, next one is gonna be
mostly positive comments, not all.
They're
coming after me.
He got chirped a little bit about picking a small player for the Flyers, but I mean, he is
friendly fire. Like, come on, I want the best for this team.
It wasn't too negative. It was just like, come on, like, go with the big boy. But he's not on the Frondell train like we are yet. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. So so next episode, like I said, might do a head-to-head. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. And Linc, we'll be meeting up next week, my friend.
Should be fun. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Cheers. We'll talk to you soon.